The bandage on her face should have been just another detail Min-jae ignored, another invisible mark on an invisible woman who cleaned his penthouse twice a week. But when Amara Johnson flinched at the sound of his footsteps, something ancient and protective roared to life inside him. He'd killed men for less than the fear he saw flickering in her dark eyes. "Who did this to you?" His voice was deadly calm, the same tone he used before ordering executions. Amara's fingers trembled against the purple bruise peeking from beneath the white gauze. "Nobody, Mr. Kang, I fell." Min-jae stepped closer, and she instinctively stepped back. That small movement, that reflexive retreat, ignited something in him that had nothing to do with the empire he'd built through blood and ruthlessness. For the first time in 15 years of controlling Los Angeles' underworld, Kang Min-jae felt completely out of control. "Don't lie to me," he whispered, and the world shifted between them. Amara had cleaned Min-jae's Century City penthouse for 6 months without truly seeing him. He was a presence, expensive suits, quiet footsteps, the scent of bergamot, and danger that lingered in rooms after he left. She knew the important things. He paid double the agency rate, never left messes, and expected invisibility. Invisibility was Amara's specialty. 28 years of being overlooked had taught her how to move through spaces without disturbing the air. She folded herself smaller in elevators, quieted her breathing around important people, perfected the art of being present without being seen. Today, that careful invisibility shattered. She'd covered the bruise as best she could, foundation 3 shades too light, because that's what the corner store carried, a bandage to hide the worst of the swelling. Her supervisor at Elite Home Services would fire her if she showed up looking unpresentable. Zara needed new school shoes. The rent was due in 8 days, so Amara went to work. The penthouse was silent when she arrived at 2 p.m., her usual time. Min-jae was never home during her shifts, a small mercy she'd counted on today. She moved through the expansive living room with its floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Los Angeles, the city sprawling beneath like a kingdom. His kingdom, she'd heard the other maids whisper. Kang Min-jae owned half of Koreatown's businesses and all of its secrets. The restaurants were legitimate. Everything else existed in shadows. Amara didn't care about his business. She cared about the $400 weekly check that kept Zara fed. She was dusting the bookshelves, leather-bound volumes in Korean and English, untouched and perfect, when she heard the elevator chime. Her heart lurched. He was never home early. "You're still here." His voice came from behind her, accented but smooth, each word precisely chosen. Amara turned slowly, keeping her face angled away. "I'm sorry, Mr. Kang. I'll finish quickly and—" "Look at me." It wasn't a request. Kang Min-jae didn't make requests. She raised her eyes and watched his expression shift from distant politeness to something sharp and focused. He crossed the room in 3 strides, expensive Italian shoes silent on marble floors. Up close, he was devastating. Sharp jawline, dark eyes that missed nothing, black hair styled with casual perfection. The top buttons of his white shirt were undone, revealing collarbones and the hint of a tattoo. "What happened to your face?" His hand lifted toward her cheek, then stopped, hovering, waiting for permission that Amara didn't know how to give. "I fell." The lie tasted bitter, clumsy. "I'm fine." Min-jae's eyes narrowed. In 6 months, she'd never heard him raise his voice, but the quiet in him now was more terrifying than any shout. "You fell," he repeated, each syllable weighted with disbelief. "Yes." "And the bruises on your wrist?" He nodded toward her left hand, where fingerprint-shaped marks darkened her brown skin despite her long sleeves. Amara yanked her sleeve down. "Mr. Kang, I really should finish." "Sit." "I can't. I have 3 more houses today, and—" "I said sit." Softer this time, but no less absolute. She perched on the edge of his pristine white sofa, wrong in every way. Her discount store uniform, her second-hand shoes, her damaged face in his perfect space. Min-jae stood before her, hands in his pockets, studying her with an intensity that made her skin warm. "Tell me his name." "There's no—" "Amara." The way he said her name, careful, like something precious, stopped her breath. He'd never used her name before. "I've built my life on reading people." "You're terrified. That bandage is fresh. Someone hurt you, and recently." She stood abruptly. "With respect, Mr. Kang, my personal life isn't your concern. It became my concern the moment you walked into my home injured." He stepped closer, and she smelled bergamot and something darker. Whiskey, maybe, or smoke. Is it a boyfriend? No. Husband? No. Then who? Amara met his eyes, saw genuine concern there, mixed with something that looked like barely restrained violence. Why do you care? I'm just your maid. Something flickered across his face, surprised, maybe hurt. You think that's all you are? Isn't it? Minjai was quiet for a long moment. I notice everything in my space, Amara. 6 months ago, you started bringing flowers. Cheap bodega flowers that you arrange in my kitchen when you think I won't see. You reorganize my books by color instead of alphabetically because you think it looks better. You leave the windows open exactly 3 inches because you figured out I like fresh air but hate wind. Her throat tightened. She'd thought herself invisible. You hum when you work, he continued. Old soul songs. Your grandmother's favorites, I think, because sometimes you sing words about going home to Louisiana. He tilted his head. You're not just my maid. You're the only real thing in this apartment. Amara couldn't breathe. Mr. Kang, the name. Give me the name of who did this. I can't. Can't or won't? Both. She grabbed her cleaning caddy. I should go. His hand caught her wrist, the unmarked one, gentle but firm. If you leave now, you're taking my protection with you. Whoever hurt you, they'll do it again. Your protection? She almost laughed. You don't even know me. I know you have a daughter. 7 years old, I think. I know you work 4 houses a day to afford an apartment in a neighborhood you're scared to walk through at night. I know you're stronger than anyone I've ever met, and I know... He stopped, jaw tight. I know I won't let anyone hurt you again. The elevator chimed. Minjae's expression shifted instantly, the concern vanishing behind cold authority. A man emerged, Korean, young, deferential. Hyungnim, we have a situation in... The man stopped, seeing Amara. Minjae spoke rapid Korean, his tone dismissive. The man bowed and retreated. Amara, Minjae's voice drew her back. Stay. Have dinner with me. Tell me what happened. I can't. Why? Because you're Kang Minjae. She gestured around the penthouse. And I'm nobody. His hand lifted to her face, thumb ghosting over the edge of her bandage with devastating gentleness. You're wrong. You're the first person I've wanted to know in 15 years. Amara's phone buzzed. Zara's school. She pulled away. I have to go. She was in the elevator before Minjae could respond, but she felt his eyes on her the entire descent, heavy and searching and impossibly dangerous. That night, lying in her narrow bed in their cramped apartment, Amara touched the bandage on her face and wondered what it meant that Kang Minjae had looked at her like she mattered. 3 days passed. Amara returned to the penthouse on schedule, half expecting Minjae to fire her or worse, demand answers she couldn't give. Instead, she found him sitting at his dining table, paperwork spread before him waiting. You came. He sounded relieved. It's my job. It's Thursday at 2 p.m. Sit with me. Mr. Kang, Minjae. He gestured to the chair beside him. Please. The please unraveled her. Amara set down her cleaning supplies and sat, keeping careful distance between them. Minjae pushed a cup of tea toward her, the expensive kind, probably Korean, fragrant and steaming. I had my people make inquiries, he said quietly. Amara's blood went cold. What? About you? About who might want to hurt you? He held up a hand before she could protest. I was discreet. But Amara, if someone's threatening you, I can... No. She stood. You can't do whatever you're thinking. This isn't your world to fix. Then whose world is it? Yours? His eyes flashed. You're cleaning houses 12 hours a day to survive. Someone put their hands on you. That makes it my world now. Why? She demanded. Why do you care? Minjae stood rounding the table until they were face to face. Because when I look at you, I don't see a maid. I see someone who brings light into this tomb I've built. I see someone who sings like she still believes in joy despite everything trying to crush it out of her. You don't know anything about me. Then tell me. His hand lifted to her face again, that same hovering gesture, seeking permission. Tell me everything. This time Amara didn't pull away. His fingers brushed her cheek, feather-light, tracing the edge of the bandage. The touch was so gentle it hurt more than the original blow. His name is Marcus, she heard herself whisper. My ex, Zara's father. Minjae's hand stilled. Where is he now? I don't know. He left when I was pregnant. Came back 2 weeks ago demanding money. Said I owed him for his investment in a kid he never wanted. Her voice cracked. He got angry when I said no. Did he threaten your daughter? The protective fury in his voice made her look up. Minjai's face was carved from stone, but his eyes burned. He implied things, Amara admitted, about knowing where she goes to school, about how accidents happen to children. Minjai's jaw clenched. He pulled out his phone, typed rapidly in Korean, then pocketed it. That threat ends today. What are you? I'm handling it. Marcus will forget you exist. You can't just... Amara grabbed his arm. Minjae, whatever you're thinking, don't. I won't have blood on my hands because there won't be blood, there will be a conversation. His hand covered hers. Amara, men like Marcus understand one language. I speak it fluently. I don't want your help. Too bad. You have it anyway. He pulled her closer, and suddenly they were breathing the same air, occupying the same impossible space. I'm done pretending you're invisible. I'm done pretending I don't count the hours until Thursday at 2 p.m. Her heart hammered. This is insane. You're you and you're the woman I think about when I should be thinking about business. You're the reason I started coming home early on Thursdays. His thumb stroked over her knuckles. You're the only honest thing in my life. You barely know me. Then let me know you. He bent slightly, bringing their faces level. Have dinner with me. Real dinner. Not me ambushing you while you work. I have Zara. Bring her. Amara blinked. You want to meet my daughter? I want to meet everyone who matters to you. I want to understand what makes you hum those songs. I want... He stopped, something vulnerable crossing his features. I want to matter to you the way you've started to matter to me. The elevator chimed. Minjae cursed in Korean, but didn't step back. Another man emerged, older this time, speaking urgently. Minjae responded with sharp words that made the man pale and retreat immediately. I have to handle something, Minjae said, turning back to Amara. But tomorrow, dinner, my restaurant in Koreatown, Hanul, 7 o'clock. I'll send a car. Minjae, I can't afford... You're not paying. You're my guest. He lifted her hand to his lips, pressed a kiss to her knuckles that sent electricity through her entire body. Say yes, Amara. Let me show you what it feels like to be seen. She should say no. Should maintain the careful distance between their worlds. Should protect herself and Zara from the dangerous orbit of Kang Minjae. But when he looked at her like she was rare and precious, when his touch made her feel cherished instead of invisible, when his voice wrapped around her name like a promise, yes, she whispered. Minjae's smile transformed his face, made him look younger and almost boyish. Tomorrow, then. He was gone before she could change her mind, leaving her standing in his perfect penthouse, hand still tingling from his kiss, heart racing with equal parts terror and anticipation. That night, Zara asked why Mommy was smiling at nothing. Amara told her they were going to dinner at a fancy restaurant. She didn't mention the man with dangerous eyes who'd somehow seen through her invisibility and decided she was worth protecting. She didn't mention that every instinct screamed this would end in heartbreak. She especially didn't mention that for the first time in 7 years, heartbreak seemed like a risk worth taking. Hanul occupied a corner in Koreatown that whispered old money and older secrets. Amara stood outside with Zara, both wearing their Sunday best, which still looked shabby against the restaurant's elegant facade. Mama, are you sure we're allowed? Zara tugged at her dress, a hand-me-down that Amara had carefully mended. We were invited, baby. Amara squeezed her daughter's hand, fighting her own doubts. The door opened before they could knock. A hostess in a traditional hanbok bowed. Ms. Johnson, Sajangnim is waiting. They were led through the main dining room, all subtle lighting and wealthy patrons, to a private room in the back. Minjae stood when they entered, and Amara's breath caught. He wore black slacks and a white shirt with the sleeves rolled up, revealing muscled forearms and the edge of a tattoo. Casual elegance that probably cost more than her monthly rent. Amara. His eyes swept over her, warm and appreciative. You look beautiful. She flushed, suddenly conscious of her cheap dress. I look beautiful, he repeated firmly, then crouched to Zara's level. And you must be Zara. Your mum talks about you all the time. Zara's eyes went wide. She does? Constantly. She says you're the smartest girl in 2nd grade. 1st grade, Zara corrected solemnly. But I read at a 3rd grade level. Minjae's smile was genuine. Then you and I will get along perfectly. I collect books. Do you like books? Zara nodded enthusiastically. And just like that, she was chattering about her favorite stories while Minjay listened with apparent fascination. Amara watched them, heart squeezing at how natural Minjay was with her daughter. No condescension, no forced interest, just genuine engagement. Dinner was a revelation. Course after course of Korean dishes Amara had never tried, each explained patiently by Minjay. He taught Zara how to use chopsticks, laughing when she dropped food repeatedly. He told stories about growing up in Seoul, about his grandmother who taught him to appreciate good food and strong women. "My grandmother would have liked you," he said to Amara, refilling her tea. "She always said the strongest people are the ones who protect others before themselves. I'm not that strong. You're raising a brilliant daughter alone. You work 4 jobs. You face down men twice your size when they threaten what you love." His eyes held hers. "Amara, you're the strongest person I've ever met." Zara excused herself to the bathroom, leaving them alone for the first time all evening. The air shifted immediately, tension crackling. "Thank you," Amara said softly, "for this, for being kind to Zara." "I'm not being kind. I'm being honest." Minjay leaned forward. "She's incredible, because you're incredible." "Minjay, I meant what I said yesterday, about wanting to know you, about you mattering." His hand found hers across the table. "I know this is fast. I know our worlds don't make sense together. But Amara, I haven't felt this alive in years." She should pull away. Instead, she turned her hand over, lacing their fingers together. "I'm scared. Of me? Of what you make me feel? Of what happens when reality crashes back in?" She met his eyes. "You're Kang Minjay. I've heard the stories. I know what you are. What am I? Dangerous. Powerful. Way out of my league." His thumb stroked her palm. "You want to know what I see when I look at you? I see someone who makes me want to be better. Someone who makes me question every choice that led to this life." His voice dropped. "Someone who makes me think maybe I could be more than what I've become." "Minjay!" Zara burst back in, shattering the moment. But Minjay didn't let go of Amara's hand, and when Zara noticed, she grinned like she'd discovered a secret. They stayed for 2 more hours. Minjay ordered dessert, patbingsu that made Zara's eyes light up, and told more stories. He asked about Amara's childhood in Louisiana, listened to her talk about her grandmother's cooking, her dreams of maybe opening her own small cleaning business someday. "Not just cleaning," he said thoughtfully. "A service that pays fair wages, that treats workers with respect. It's just a dream. Dreams become real when someone believes in them hard enough." His eyes held a promise. "I believe in yours." The drive home was in Minjay's car, a sleek black Mercedes driven by a silent bodyguard. Zara fell asleep against Amara's shoulder, full and happy. "She likes you," Amara murmured. "Good, because I plan on being around a lot more." Minjay shifted closer. "If you'll let me. This is crazy. Maybe." His hand cupped her face, thumb brushing over where the bandage had been. The bruise was fading, yellow-green now instead of purple. "But I'm done pretending I don't want this. Want you. People will talk. Your world and mine. My world is whatever I say it is." His voice turned fierce. "And I say you belong in it." The car stopped outside her apartment building, a run-down complex in a neighborhood that made Minjay's jaw tighten. He helped her extract sleepy Zara, then walked them to the door despite Amara's protests. "Tomorrow," he said at her doorway, "come to the penthouse, not to work, to see me." "Minjay," he kissed her. Soft and searching, a question more than a demand, Amara's free hand fisted in his shirt, pulling him closer even as her mind screamed warnings. He tasted like possibility and danger, like everything she'd trained herself not to want. When they broke apart, his forehead rested against hers. "Tomorrow," he repeated. "Tomorrow," she agreed, and watched him disappear into the night, taking her common sense with him. Tomorrow came with chaos. Amara was getting Zara ready for school when her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. "Ms. Johnson?" A woman's voice, professional and cold. "This is Detective Morrison, LAPD. We need to talk about Marcus Williams." Amara's blood froze. "What about him?" "He's filed a complaint alleging harassment from someone connected to you. He also claims you've made false accusations about domestic violence." The floor tilted. "That's not... I never filed anything about... We need you to come to the station. Today." Amara's mind raced. She'd told Minjay about Marcus. Minjay had made a call. Oh God, what had he done? She dropped Zara at school and went straight to the penthouse, bypassing her usual schedule. Min-jae answered the private elevator dressed in workout clothes, sweaty and gorgeous, and completely unconcerned. Amara, I wasn't expecting... He stopped, seeing her face. What's wrong? What did you do? Her voice shook. The police called. Marcus is claiming harassment. What did you do? Min-jae's expression shuttered. I had a conversation with him, as promised. What kind of conversation? Because now he's lying to the police about me, and he's lying because I made sure he understood what happens if he comes near you again. Min-jae approached her carefully. The harassment claim won't stick. I have people who... You have people. Amara stepped back. Min-jae, I can't be involved in whatever you did. I have Zara. If Child Services thinks I'm connected to... She couldn't breathe. I could lose her. Understanding dawned on his face. Amara, no, that won't happen. I made sure... You made sure. Her voice rose. You don't get to make sure of anything in my life. You don't get to fix my problems with whatever criminal connections you have. I was protecting you. I didn't ask for your protection. I asked... She stopped, realizing the truth. I never asked for anything. You just took over. Like I'm some damsel who needs saving by the big strong crime boss. Min-jae flinched. That's not what this is. No? Then what is it? Because from where I'm standing, you're playing white knight while I'm the one who'll face the consequences. She laughed bitterly. Except you're not even white and neither am I, which makes this whole thing even more complicated, because you have money and power and I have... You have me, he said fiercely. You have my protection, my resources, I don't want them. The words exploded out of her. I want my simple life where I know the rules, where I clean houses and raise my daughter and stay invisible because invisible is safe. Invisible is dying slowly. Min-jae grabbed her shoulders. You think I don't see what that life costs you? You're drowning, Amara. I'm trying to throw you a rope. I don't want your rope. I want... Her voice cracked. I want to not be terrified that loving you will destroy everything I've built. The room went silent. Amara realized what she'd said, watched Min-jae's face transform. You love me, he whispered. She tried to take it back, couldn't. It doesn't matter. It's the only thing that matters. He pulled her close and she went, despite everything, burrowing into his chest like she could hide from the world there. Amara, I will fix this. The police thing, it'll disappear. Marcus will never bother you again, I swear on everything I am. That's what I'm afraid of. Everything you are includes things I can't be part of. His arms tightened. Then I'll change. You can't change what you are, Min-jae. You're Kang Min-jae, leader of whatever organization. You have responsibilities, people depending on you. A whole world I don't understand. So help me understand yours. Let me in, completely. Let me... Her phone rang. The detective again. Amara pulled away to answer, and Min-jae's expression hardened at whatever he heard in her voice. When she hung up, he was already making calls in Korean, his tone sharp and commanding. Within 30 minutes, he had a lawyer on the way to the police station, someone to pick up Zara from school, and apparently Marcus's complaint in the process of vanishing. It's handled, he said finally. Amara stared at him. This man who could reshape reality with a few phone calls, who looked at her like she was precious, who'd somehow become essential to her happiness in just a few weeks. I need time, she said quietly, to think, to figure out if I can do this. Pain flashed across his face. How much time? I don't know. Amara, please. She was already backing toward the elevator. Just, please. She left him standing in his perfect penthouse, looking lost for the first time since she'd met him. The ride down felt like falling, and Amara wondered if she'd just made the biggest mistake of her life, or if the biggest mistake was falling in love with Kang Min-jae in the first place. 4 days of silence. Min-jae didn't call, didn't text, gave her the space she'd asked for. Amara should have felt relieved. Instead, she felt hollow. She went through motions. Work, Zara, sleep, repeat. Marcus's complaint had indeed vanished like Min-jae promised. She should have been grateful. She was mostly terrified of how easily he'd made her problem disappear. On the 5th day, Zara asked why they weren't seeing Mr. Kang anymore. It's complicated, baby. Do you miss him? Yes. No point lying to her too perceptive daughter. Then why don't we see him? Zara's eyes, too old for 7, studied her. Is it because he's rich and we're not? Amara's heart broke. It's because his life is very different from ours. He made you smile, Mama. You don't smile a lot anymore. Zara crawled into her lap. I liked when you smiled. That night, Amara couldn't sleep. She kept replaying moments. Minjae's hand on her face, his fierce protectiveness, the way he'd crouched to Zara's level and listened like her daughter's words mattered, the way he'd kissed her like she was everything. Her phone buzzed at 2 a.m. Minjae, I miss you. Tell me how to fix this. She stared at the message, fingers hovering over the keyboard. Tell him it's impossible. Tell him they're from different worlds. Tell him she's not strong enough for his life. Tell him she loves him anyway. Before she could respond, someone pounded on her door. Amara's heart seized. Late-night knocks were never good. She grabbed her phone, ready to call 911, and peered through the peephole. Minjae stood there in rumpled clothes, hair disheveled, looking nothing like the controlled crime boss, and everything like a desperate man. She opened the door. What are you? I can't do this. He pushed inside, pacing her tiny living room like a caged animal. 4 days, Amara. 4 days of pretending I can function without you. I can't. Minjae, it's 2 a.m. Zara's sleeping. I'll be quiet. He wasn't quiet. I've spent 15 years building an empire. 15 years making myself untouchable. Then you walk into my life humming soul songs and arranging flowers, and suddenly everything I built feels empty. You barely know me. I know everything that matters. I know you sacrifice so your daughter can have better. I know you see good in people even when they don't deserve it. I know you think you're invisible, but Amara... He crossed to her in 2 strides, cupping her face in both hands. You're the most visible thing in my world. When you're not there, everything goes grey. Tears burned her eyes. I'm scared. So am I. His forehead touched hers, terrified. Because you've become my weakness, and in my world, weakness gets you killed. But I don't care anymore. I'd rather die vulnerable with you than live safe and alone. Your world can adjust, will adjust. I don't care what people think, what complications arise, what... I'm black, Minjae. You're Korean. That matters to people. Not to me, but to others. To your organization, to... Anyone who has a problem with you has a problem with me. His voice turned to ice. And problems with me don't last long. That's what terrifies me. The casual way you talk about violence. The way you can make people disappear with a phone call. Would you rather I let Marcus hurt you, let anyone hurt you? His grip tightened. I won't apologize for protecting what's mine. I'm not yours. Aren't you? He pulled back to look at her, and his eyes held everything, desperation, hope, love. Because I'm completely yours. Every dark, broken part of me belongs to you now, and I know that's not fair. I know I'm dragging you into something complicated, but Amara... His voice cracked. I can't lose you. I won't survive it. Minjae? I love you. The words hung between them, raw and honest. I love that you're strong and stubborn. I love that you make me want to be better. I love how you love your daughter. I love your terrible bodega flowers and your off-key humming and the way you reorganize my books. They look better by color, she whispered, crying now. They do. He wiped her tears with his thumbs. Everything looks better when you're in it. My apartment, my life, me. A shaky breath. Let me love you. Let me take care of you and Zara. Let me be the man you make me want to be. What if it's not enough? What if the difference is between us? Then we'll fight for it together. He kissed her, soft and pleading. I'll leave my world if you ask. No, she pulled back. I won't ask you to give up who you are. Then what do you want? Amara looked at this powerful man reduced to vulnerability in her cheap apartment, asking her to save him the way he'd tried to save her. She thought about Zara asking why she didn't smile, about how invisible she'd felt before Minjae looked at her like she was real, about how love was always a risk, but some risks were worth taking. I want you, she whispered. All of you, even the complicated parts, even the scary parts. She grabbed his shirt, pulled him closer. I want you to teach me Korean. I want to learn about your world while you learn about mine. I want... He kissed her, deep and claiming, lifting her off the ground as she wrapped around him. They broke apart breathless. I want you to meet my grandmother, she continued, in Louisiana. I want Zara to have a father figure who shows up. I want to wake up next to you and not feel like I'm trespassing in your life. You're not trespassing. You're home. He set her down gently. My apartment is home now because you're in it. I'm home because you see me. Min Jae. Marry me. Amara froze. What? Not now, not tomorrow, but eventually. Marry me and let me spend my life proving you're the best decision I ever made. He kissed her forehead, her cheeks, her lips. Let me love you and Zara. Let me be yours. You're insane. About you? Absolutely. He smiled against her mouth. Say maybe. Give me maybe. Maybe. She laughed through tears. You're absolutely insane and way too intense and yours. Nobody touches what's mine. His voice turned fierce, protective. You're mine now, Amara, and I'm yours. Anyone who has a problem with that can take it up with me. She pulled him down for another kiss, surrendering to the impossible, terrifying, perfect reality of loving Kang Min-jae. A small voice interrupted, Mama? Why is Mr. Kang here? They broke apart to find Zara in her doorway, sleepy and curious. Min-jae immediately crouched to her level. I came to ask your mom something important, but I should ask you too. He took Zara's small hand in his. Would it be okay if I spent more time with you and your mum, if I became part of your family? Zara studied him with 7-year-old seriousness. Will you make Mama smile again? Every single day. Will you read me stories and teach me Korean and... She hesitated. Will you stay? My dad left. People always leave. Min-jae's expression softened. I'm not leaving. Not ever. I promise you both. He looked between them. You're my family now, and I protect my family. Zara threw her arms around his neck. Min-jae stood, lifting her easily, and reached for Amara with his free arm. They stood there, the crime boss, the maid, and the little girl, forming something new and fragile and impossibly strong. I love you, Amara whispered against Min-jae's shoulder. I love you both, he whispered back. My whole world. And for the first time in 7 years, Amara felt completely, utterly, perfectly seen. Years later, Amara stood in the penthouse, their penthouse now, arranging flowers. Not cheap bodega flowers anymore, but she still bought them herself, still insisted on the ritual. Min-jae watched from the kitchen doorway, coffee in hand, looking at her like she was everything. You're staring, she said without turning. Can't help it. You're beautiful when you're concentrating. She turned, smiled. His shirt hung open, revealing the tattoos that now included her name in Korean characters over his heart. She wore his shirt from yesterday, bare legs underneath, completely comfortable in the space that had once intimidated her. Zara called. She got into UCLA. Amara's voice trembled with pride. Of course she did. She's brilliant. Min-jae crossed to her, pulled her close. Like her mother. Her father helped. Amara's cleaning business had flourished with Min-jae's backing. Fair wages, good benefits, a model that other companies now copied. She ran it herself, but he'd been there for every milestone. I just provided capital. You provided the vision. A knock interrupted them. Min-jae tensed automatically, old habits, but relaxed when familiar voices called out. His brothers in arms, now uncles to Zara. Amara's grandmother, visiting from Louisiana with more soul food than 3 people could eat. Zara herself, home from school with friends in tow. Their apartment filled with Korean and English, with laughter and love and the collision of worlds that had somehow formed something new. Min-jae had stepped back from his organization, gone legitimate with the restaurants. The transition had been rough, but Amara had been there through all of it. That night, after everyone left, Min-jae found her on the balcony overlooking Los Angeles. Regrets? He asked, wrapping arms around her from behind. Never. She leaned into him. You? Only that I didn't notice the bandage on your face sooner, that I wasted 6 months seeing you without really seeing you. Amara turned in his arms. You see me now, every day, for the rest of my life. He kissed her softly. My beautiful, strong, impossible wife. Your stubborn,